Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a question that's fascinated apocalyptic fiction writers, scientists, and curious minds alike. Could just two people successfully repopulate the Earth after some catastrophic event? You know, that classic scenario where somehow only two humans survive and have to restart humanity from scratch. Is Adam and Eve style repopulation scientifically possible? Or would humanity be doomed to extinction? Let's explore the genetics, the math, and the cold hard reality of what would really happen if humanity's future depended on just two individuals. The answer might surprise you, and it's definitely more complicated than you might think. Imagine a catastrophic event has occurred, maybe a pandemic, nuclear war, or some other disaster, and somehow only two people remain. One biological male and one biological female, both of reproductive age and healthy. Could they successfully rebuild the human population? Before we even get to genetics, let's talk about immediate survival. Our two survivors would need to secure food, water, and shelter, protect themselves from environmental threats, have medical knowledge for childbirth without modern facilities, successfully raise multiple children without the support networks we take for granted. Even if they overcome these obstacles, the real problems begin with genetics. A population founded by just two individuals creates what scientists call an extreme genetic bottleneck. Here's why that's a massive problem. Each human carries approximately 20,000 genes, but importantly, we each have two copies of most genes. We're diploid organisms. This means our two survivors would bring a maximum of 4 possible variants of each gene into the new population. Compare this to the current human population with millions of genetic variants, and you can see we'd immediately lose over 99.99% of human genetic diversity. We all carry 5 to 10 potentially fatal recessive mutations in our DNA. These don't affect us because we need 2 copies, one from each parent, for them to cause problems. With only 2 founders, if both carry the same recessive harmful mutations, approximately 25% of their children could develop serious genetic disorders. Even if the first generation seems healthy, as the children interbreed, recessive disorders would begin appearing at alarming rates. Continuous close relative breeding leads to inbreeding depression, the accumulation of harmful traits that reduce fertility rates, immune system function, overall health and vitality, resistance to disease. And this is why virtually all human cultures developed incest taboos. They recognize the negative outcomes even before understanding genetics. Scientists have extensively studied what's called the minimum viable population, MVP, needed for long-term species survival. For humans, conservative estimates suggest we need at least 50 individuals to avoid immediate inbreeding problems. For long-term genetic health and evolutionary potential, the number jumps to around 500. Some researchers argue we need several thousand people for true genetic sustainability. NASA and other space agencies, considering long-term space colonization, typically use a minimum figure of 160 genetically diverse individuals, and even this would require careful genetic management. We can look at real-world examples of small founding populations. The Pitcairn Island population, founded by 9 bounty mutineers and 18 Tahitians, has suffered numerous genetic disorders. Certain isolated religious communities with limited founding members show increased rates of rare genetic conditions. Several endangered species brought back from near extinction still struggle with genetic health despite conservation efforts. Modern or future technology might offer some solutions. Genetic screening could help identify and avoid the most harmful mutations. Gene editing technologies might correct genetic defects. Preserved genetic material from before the catastrophe could increase diversity. Artificial wombs could increase reproductive capacity. However, in a post-apocalyptic scenario, this technology likely wouldn't be available to our survivors. So could 2 people repopulate Earth? Technically, mathematically, yes, a population could grow from two individuals. But genetically speaking, that population would face severe challenges and would likely be plagued by increasing health problems with each generation. Without outside genetic input or advanced technology, such a population would struggle to remain viable long-term. The more realistic minimum number would be closer to 100 to 500 genetically diverse individuals, carefully managed to minimize inbreeding. This is why serious plans for space colonization or apocalypse preparation involve much larger groups of genetically diverse humans. This exploration shows us just how vulnerable our species can be and how much we depend on our collective genetic diversity for our resilience and survival. It also highlights why biodiversity conservation is so important. Genetic diversity is literally the insurance policy for a species' future. If you found this video interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more thought-provoking science content. Drop your questions or scenarios in the comments below. What other scientific thought experiments would you like me to explore next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.